everyone. My name is Kiley Cairns, and I am the Digital Marketing Manager at New England Dairy. Today's virtual video training session will focus on advertising with Facebook and Instagram using the Facebook Ad Manager platform. Now, before we dive in, the most important thing is you need to have a business account on Facebook in order to advertise. So if you're just starting from scratch, this is your first time setting up a business account, I would recommend watching a tutorial on YouTube that solely focuses on how to set up a business manager account. Today's training specifically is going to cover actually setting up your ad for the first time. So we will include a link in the video description with one that I personally like, but things are constantly updating and changing all the time. So whenever you're looking to get started, you can visit YouTube and just type in how to set up a Facebook business manager account and then enter the most current year or date to get the most up-to-date tutorial. High level, within the whole business suite, there are different levels. And today we're really going to dive into step-by-step getting into the ad campaign manager and running your first set of ads. Whenever you're first starting out, I always recommend to start with the basics. So I'm going to show you examples once we're in the platform of just doing one ad set, which really means one audience, and then one ad creative. And then once you're a little more comfortable, what's fantastic about the Facebook Ad Manager platform is you can run a campaign with different audiences and also different types of creative to see what is going to perform best and understand what is most relevant and engaging for your audience. All right, now it's time to dive into the platform. So there are two ways to access Ads Manager within Facebook. So the first way is through your Business Suite account. And as you can see, there are a few different options on the left-hand side, and there's one titled Ads Manager. Simply click, and then you are now in your account where you can start creating campaigns. You'll notice the big green button, which is how you get started. The second way to access Ads Manager is just through your personal Facebook page. You may notice on the left-hand side a few different icons. And again, there's Ads Manager. And if you end up creating multiple ad accounts, let's say you have multiple businesses or you're supporting different accounts, be sure that you select from the drop down which advertising account you want to set up that particular campaign. So for the sake of this tutorial, I am going into the New England Dairy advertising account. And whenever you first enter Ads Manager, you will have a quick overview of any recent ads you've done, how much you've spent, and you can adjust the different lengths of time for how far you want to go back. If it's your first time ever running an ad, there won't be any data populated just yet. So when you go to create your first campaign, there are going to be a few different options that you need to select. And the first step is to choose your campaign objective. So the most common ones that we use and that I recommend you consider using are awareness, traffic, and engagement. And what's great about the Facebook Ad Manager platform is it really gives you a description of what each campaign objective is. So awareness really is you just want to spread the word about something. Let's say you just launched a new initiative at your business, or if you're really just getting started advertising, you may want to just do an awareness campaign. A traffic campaign, this is one where you want to send people to a specific destination. So the most popular choice for this feature is sending people to your website. And then the third option that we like to use here at New England Dairy is the engagement objective, which again is getting more people interacting with that content. So if it's a video, getting them to watch the video, commenting, liking, and sharing the post. So for the demo, I'm going to select a traffic ad. You do have the option to name your campaign here, but you can also name it later on in the setup. So this is a brand new feature from Ad Manager where you can just select their tailored web traffic campaign. This is new and we haven't had much experience with using this totally defaulted, pre-selected campaign. So I'm going to walk you through the manual setup, which is what most people have been doing until recently. All right, once you are now in the traffic campaign setup, this is where you can name it. So I always recommend making sure you pick a name that's relevant to what you are advertising. For the sake of this video, I'm going to call it CT Training Test Campaign 1. You'll notice below that there is a selection called special ad categories. The only time you'll ever need to make a selection is if your ad falls into any of the following categories. Most likely, you would only use this if you're advertising for a job opening on your farm or another, internship opportunity. Then you would want to select employment. Otherwise, you likely won't ever need to declare the ad as a special category. So once you've named your campaign and you've selected special ad categories, if that is required for what your ad will be about, you don't need to change anything with the campaign details here. The default settings are just fine. What is important here is this Advantage campaign budget. When you select on, this is where you're going to set your budget for your ads. Personally, I like to recommend anybody who's just starting off to do a lifetime budget versus daily budget. Daily budget really doesn't have an end date. It just sets a budget for how much you would spend each day on an ad. And if you forget that the ad is running, then that can, rack up a hefty bill. So we always recommend to select lifetime budget. And then this will later, when we're continuing to set up the ad, you can start a start and an ending date. So for the sake of this example, we'll say that our lifetime budget is $100. And you'll notice along the way, different notifications or messages may pop up. And that's because the platform constantly is changing. So if you ever are curious to learn what a feature means, you can hover and click Learn More. So really, this is all you need to do within this section. Now you can move into your traffic ad set, which I would, again, give it a name that's related to your campaign. So let's call this CT Training Traffic Ad Set. And for this example, I want to send people to our website to promote a certain page. So I'm going to select the option conversion location, send traffic to your website. And then here, there's nothing else you need to adjust. You can just keep the default settings. Now, I had talked about wanting to pick a start and an end date for your ad. A lot of people ask, how long should I be running my ad for? We like to recommend when you're first starting off, between 1 to 2 weeks is a good starting point to see how the ads will perform. You may want to up that up to a month over time. You really just have to experiment and see what works for you. So today is the start date. I'm going to do the sample ad. Let's have it run until December 6th. And it just usually has the default time of when you set up the ad. If you want to schedule an ad in advance, so let's say you don't want it to run as soon as it's approved, you want it to run maybe a few days later, you can make that selection as well. And then the ad won't start running until a later date. The audience section, this is where you're going to do all of your different targeting, and you can get it so localized, which is why it's fantastic for local businesses to advertise through the Facebook Ad Manager platform. Once you start creating audiences, you'll be able to go back and select them, so you don't always have to set up a brand new audience each time. Let's, for the sake of this tutorial, practice setting up a brand new audience. So the first thing I'll want to edit is the location of the people that I want to target with this ad. So you can do statewide targeting. You can even do zip code. You can get really hyper local with your targeting. You can do it by zip code, by state, and then you can adjust the age, the gender, and there are so many different demographics or different ways you can target people. And I just recommend playing around with it. Consider who are the people that you want to reach on Facebook. A lot of times at New England Dairy, we like to target people that have interest in local food, animals. You can also target parents. There's so many different ways that you can target and really just play around. And it's really about trial and error when you're first starting off and just set a small budget. You can run your first ad campaign for $25 just to play around and see what your audience engages with. And then once you have your targeting selected, you can then save the audience. So again, that's a important step if you want to go back and use an audience later on. So an example, millennial mom slogan testing, that's something we recently did at New England Dairy. And you can see that everything is saved and it's all set and ready to go. There also is a guide on the side which will let you know like if your audience is too specific, too broad, or just about right. And it gives you an estimated number of how many people you will likely reach with your advertising. And then the final step of setting up your first ad campaign is creating the ads themselves. And again, just like you did for the ad set and the overall campaign, give it a name just for organization purposes. So I will name this CT Training Ad Number 1. If you have an Instagram account, we always recommend that you have your Instagram linked to your Facebook account because this way you can advertise across both platforms. If you have more than one account, they will appear here. Make sure you select which Instagram account you would like the ads to be affiliated with. In the ad setup, this is how you will select what you want your ad to look like. We usually recommend when you're just starting off to utilize a single image or video, but then once you get more advanced and experienced, you can try some of the other formats that the platform offers. Down here is where you'll be able to add your media and your text for the ad. And what's really cool is once you start adding media, it will appear as a preview on the right-hand side. So you'll be able to see what the ad looks like. One, when you select the image, it will show you what it looks like. And you can play around with the dimensions of what you want it to look like to your liking. And then this is another newer feature. We'll ask if you want to optimize your creative. While you're first starting out, I recommend to keep these features off because as you can see, Facebook, their algorithm will decide to display the creative in a variety of different ways. And it could definitely be wonky and it's not totally, I think, perfect just quite yet. So I recommend to keep the enhancements off for the time being. And as you're setting up your ad along the way, different notifications will pop up and you can, follow the suggestions from Facebook. Sometimes they give you really helpful tips. In this case, it's saying that we may want to add more than just one creative. And, but for now, I'm just going to close out of that pop up. So as you can see here, now you're able to start seeing a preview and you can expand the preview. And right now, you can see, because I've only selected the one image, it doesn't appear perfectly on all formats, but you can get a good idea of what this may look like on all the different platforms that the ad will be shown through the ad manager platform. So this is where, again, you would develop what you want your ad to say. So for the sake of this example, I'll say new offer. And you'll see in real time, give or take a few seconds in the preview, you can see what the headline looks like. And you can do a few different options. I think it allows you up to 5. So again, if you want to play around with the different text to see which performs better with the different people you are targeting. And it also allows you to select what they call a call to action button. So what do you want them to do? There's a variety of options. So hopefully you find something that works for what you're hoping the person will do. Do you want them to download something? Do you want them to learn more, order something? There are so many different options available. And then specifically for this campaign, since we wanted to drive people to our website, the most important thing is to enter a website URL. So for the example, I'm just going to enter our New England Dairy website. And then you'll see once the URL has been added, it updates the ad preview. And again, it's just about kind of playing around and seeing what looks right to you. All of this down here, tracking languages, you don't need to worry about it when you're just beginning. And if you miss an important step before launching your ad, Facebook does a pretty good job of letting you know, like, hey, you missed the step before you click publish. If you ever need to leave the ad, so let's say you started setting up a campaign and then you want to go back to it later, you simply just need to X out, and then you'll get a notification asking, your changes have been saved, but they're not running yet. Click publish items to apply these changes. In this case, we don't want to publish the items, so you just click the close button, and then it takes you back to your list of campaigns. And then once you actually start having campaigns run, you'll see results starting to come in, and you'll be able to create all different reports to export data and view your results once you get your ads running. So there is the test campaign that we set up. And as you can see, it's in draft form. So once the ad is running, it will consider it active. Once it's completed, it's pretty self-explanatory and straightforward. So initially, interacting in Campaign Manager can definitely be overwhelming, but Facebook does a really good job, again, of having information buttons to walk you through every step of the way. And if you ever just have a general question, there is a help center. You can search for a variety of topics, and you can even contact somebody on the support team if you have a really specific question, and somebody will be able to help you. There are a lot of different tools within the Ad Manager platform. It can be overwhelming at first, but I hope that this tutorial was helpful just to see some of the basics of how we set up our ad campaigns here at New England Dairy. If you have any questions, we are always here as a resource. There are also several different tutorials on YouTube to address any questions you have, whether it's advertising or just general social media questions. YouTube is always a great resource. I love to use it myself. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you found this helpful.